Okay, everybody, let's do a little recap of what we did today. So we really kind of worked out of the book. We did a little bit of mathy, and then we talked about arithmetic and geometric sequences. So on this one, we really know that if we're going to, difference is 4, we're just going to add 4 to each term. So it says we started 11 from this one, and then we just added 4, and it just changed the sequence, okay? Again, that is definitely arithmetic. We just added 4, okay? Then we turned the page, and we took a look at the geometric ones, right? And so we saw this one went 1, 2, 4, 8, so it's geometric. We're multiplying by 2, but we changed the ratio. This time we multiplied by 3, so we made 1, 3, 9, 27, 81, and obviously that's geometric because you're multiplying, okay? Then we looked at page 81, and we said, okay, well, let's change the pattern again. Let's start at 1, but this time multiply by 1/3, which is going to make the function decrease. We start at 1, we multiply by 1/3, 1 times 1/3 is 1/3, multiply by 1/3, 1/9, 1/27, 181, and 1 over 243, because we're just multiplying by 1/3, multiply by 1/3, multiply by 1/3, and so forth and so on. Okay, and then we went to number 5. We said, well, wait a minute, if the ratio is negative, what do? Well, if it's negative, then it goes from positive to negative, because a negative times a negative is a positive, but a negative times a positive is negative. So then we said, okay, let's do it. So we start at 1, we multiply by -2. Okay, -2. Then multiply by -2 times -2 is +4. Multiply by -2 and we get a -8. Multiply by a -2, negative times negative is positive. Multiply by -2 and we get -32, okay? And we looked at we saw the graph would look kind of weird like this. Weird looking graph. And then onto the page, we take a look at this. So we saw 270, 90, 30. So it looks like we're dividing by 3. That's what, but Devin says, nope, what you're doing is multiplying by 1/3. I'm like, wait a minute, that's a better definition, because we know they're both right, but we know that R is a ratio, which is a fraction. So even though it is divided by 3, we want to use the term ratio or multiply by 1/3, because that's the same thing as divide by 3, because a ratio is a fraction, okay? And then we took a look at page 83. On page 83, if you only have only two terms, you don't know enough. 2 is not enough. So we said, well, what if it's arithmetic? Well, if it's arithmetic, it's 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay, it could be arithmetic, could be, but it could be geometric, which means we can multiply by 2. So if this is all we have is 3, 6. We could just say it's times by 2. So we'd make a totally different sequence. So really, they're both right. Only knowing 2 is not enough. They are both correct. They're both correct, because only 2 terms doesn't give us enough. So what do? Well, we've got to have at least 3 terms, okay? And finally, we saw this weird one, which is 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And we talked about how that could be arithmetic. If all you do is add 0, add 0, add 0, add 0, that's arithmetic. Or it could be geometric, where you multiply by 1, multiply by 1, multiply by 1, multiply by 1, okay? And that's pretty much what we had. And then the homework for the day was page 105 and 106 out of the book. All right, that's my recap, and we will talk about the stuff tomorrow.